Welcome to my American History Notes, where I learn some things and draw some conclusions from studying American history. I hope that you'll be interested enough to study it too. So, I'm still in science and technology. We'll be through with this before long. There's a lot of names I would like you to know, and maybe you'll be interested in some of the things they invent, some of the things they're involved with, and you'll look and study them yourself. And that's my goal, is to get you interested in looking into some of these things. So, while this is rather dry, we'll get to some more interesting, exciting stuff later. I'm just hoping that you'll find something that really gets you wanting to look. So Carl Ranson Rogers was born in 1902. This psychologist will move from the term patient in a therapist setting to client. He will develop client-centered therapy and challenge the psychotherapist's couch model. He concentrates, along with Abraham Maslow, to an individual's self-growth potential and self-healing capacity, along with self-actualization. The concept of mental health coming by reading as much of the Bible as you could in a day and of being in a constant prayerful and thankful attitude to God is left by the wayside, as the expectation for healing is not directed toward God, but toward oneself. Self worship, Satan's grandest scheme to undermine man's relationship with God, is exalted in the coming age, and this heresy will even influence the Christian church. Love for Jesus Christ will be replaced by self esteem and submission to God's will. It will be replaced by finding oneself, and all answers will be expected to come not from God and His Word, but from inside you. Hence the mess we're in today. Read Jeremiah 17:9, 10:23, Proverbs 3:5, Proverbs 14:12, 16:25, with Matthew 11:28 and Matthew 16:24. In 1904, Edward B. Titchener establishes an organization of experimental psychologists to espouse the viewpoint of existential psychology, emphasizing personal decision, free will, and individuality. In 1907, William Graham Sumner, a sociologist, will publish Folkways, in which he originates the concept of ethnocentrism, where you believe your culture is superior to another. The flip side of this is to say that it is wrong to believe that American culture is superior to, say, Arab culture. This ridiculous view will be taught for the duration of the century in American colleges and universities. In 1908, William McDougall will write a pioneering work on social psychology that claims that all of our behavior is driven by instinct. So we move away from God and saying that the answers to all of our problems lie within ourselves, and then say that we're helpless to determine our behavior as it is driven by instinct. Ethnologist, a student of culture, Alice Cunningham Fletcher, publishes The Omaha Tribe, an important monograph on an Indian tribe in 1911. And anthropologist Franz Boas publishes his influential work, The Mind of Primitive Man, in the same year. Anthropologist Margaret Mead will publish her influential work, Coming of Age in Samoa, in 1928. In 1913, psychologist J.B. Watson will explain his theory of behaviorism, which tries to eliminate any differences between animals and humans. Physician C.F. Menninger and his sons Carl and William found the Menninger Clinic in Topeka, Kansas. They will pioneer community health programs. Carl Menninger was known to stumble around mumbling to himself at the public pool across the street from his clinic. In the 1920s, the modern pastoral counseling movement, a psychologically sophisticated form of religious therapy, begins as an alternative to traditional Bible based guidance, as a compromise between psychology and the Bible. It is a movement in the Christian church away from the core doctrines of the Bible and in the adopting of psychobabble as dogma. At the same time, in the secular world, psychiatric social work begins. Also, will therapy is pioneered by Otto Rank. B.F. Skinner publishes his work in the Skinner Box in 1938. His view in the purely mechanical view of human behavior as a mere response to a stimulus will be famous. Later, William Sheldon will claim that body structure determines personality. Pediatrician Benjamin Spock will become famous for ruining a couple of generations of American children with his less structured approach to child raising, beginning in 1946. Anthropologist Ruth Benedict will publish The Chrysanthemum and the Sword about Japanese culture in 1946. Geneticist Walter Sutton publishes a paper called The Chromosomes Theory of Heredity, claiming that heredity factors are located in the chromosomes in 1903. Carl Landsteiner discovers a research factor in blood in 1904. Biochemist Elmer Vernier McCollum will establish the first white rat colony for experimentation around 1910. Geneticist Hermann Joseph Mueller begins experimentally breeding fruit flies, Drosophila, for the study of gene mutations. The American Nurses Association is established in 1911 and will eventually become the largest professional women's organization in the world. Neurosurgeons Harvey Cushing and W.T. Bowie invent the process of blood vessel cauterization, which greatly helps in surgeries, in 1928. The man who believed the bigger the brain, the smarter the individual, Carl Spencer Lashley, publishes his greatest work in 1929. Heart specialist A.S. Hyman will develop the cardiac pacemaker in 1932. And another find that is little discussed today, except in genetic circles, T.M. Sonneborn showed in 1944 that genes can't operate except in the presence of a as yet unidentified substance called primers. Today, it can be said that if an animal has 98% of the genetic makeup that a human has, it will still not even be close to human because it is the expression of genes, not their similarity, that counts. Businessman Paul Patillo Higgins strikes oil at the Spindletop Gusher in Beaumont, Texas in 1901, and soon Texas will become the dominant petroleum yielding state. Charles D. Perrine will discover the sixth satellite of Jupiter in 1944. Thomas Crowder of Chamberlain and Forrest Ray Moulton will formulate in 1905 the theory that planets form from smaller particles, and this idea that a bunch of small rocks came together to form planets will be accepted as fact by scientists. The San Francisco earthquake will hit in 1906, measuring an 8.3 on the Richter scale, according to later estimates. In 1907, a chemist named Bertram Gordon Boltwood will publish that lead is the final product from the radioactive decay of uranium and thorium, arguing that knowing the rate of decay will make the radioactive dating possible. In 1909, Florence Bascom, the first female PhD from Johns Hopkins University, edits the U.S. Geological Survey's Philadelphia Folio. Navy engineer Robert B. Perry and his African-American dog sled driver Matthew Hansen, three Eskimos and their dogs, are the first to reach North Pole in 1909. Roald Amundsen, though, beats Robert Scott to the South Pole in 1911. We're going to continue next time. I hope that this will encourage you to do some study on your own and learn something about American history that you didn't know before. Thank you.